Fortnite Mapper, hey! Jasmine, how are you doing? How's your day going? I've got to get a shareable link, copy this, put it in the right chat, so people know that I'm streaming a few minutes early today. More sweet goodness. Alright, how's it going everybody? I'm Drifty from Driftwood Gaming. I'm going to get right into it. We're still working on our GMS2 project to post to itch. I did a bit off camera. Just about an hour ago I opened up the project and started messing around with a few things. I can show you what I did real quick. I imported a new, what is it called? Particle effect. Yep, particle effect. And we're calling this one Dark Magic. I want to show it to you guys real quick. This is what it looks like. Very groovy. I was more or less looking for some kind of like another Mega Man like gets destroyed, and then like everything circles out like that. But I came across this one and I'm like, shoot, I'm gonna put this in. It looks pretty cool. I'll do something with it. I don't know. So I was adding that one in. I added a new. What is it called? It's a sprite. I added a new sprite, and it's just a spiky sprite, and it just looks like that. Boom. That's all it looks like. And this is going to be the death. When the player hits a spike, they die. And I added a couple new things. Okay, we can close this particle system for now, and this particle script for now. In the controller, I made it so if the player's lives go to 0 or less, then it goes back to the title screen. So that's our like basic lose condition. I updated the score object to include a lives and the amount of player lives. I added a new variable called player lives and started at 5. Also did it twice for shading. I could probably just do a shading script. I've done that before in other games. If I have a lot of text to draw to the screen, I'm just going to do a shading script. So instead of draw text, I'll do draw text shade or something like that, and then I type it once instead of twice. Because basically all of this is shading, and then everything after this is the text I want to draw. So I'm doing it twice basically at slightly different spaces. What else did I do off camera? Not a whole lot, just a few things. I added a new object called Spike. I put it in a new category of object category called Death. So everything we put in here are going to be ways to kill the player. I was thinking of more functionality, and I think I might include things that walk around trying to chase the player. Might be interesting. Maybe even things that shoot at the player. But that's a little bit later on to make it increasingly difficult to see how far you can get. I also want to, I thought about how I'm going to do the scoring, and I'm going to time the player not with a set amount of time, but instead they're going to have a clock, and the time is going to go up, and every second the score gets higher, and you want a lower score, so the lower your score, the better you're doing. So every point counts as a second, and every time you get a point, that reduces a second from your timer, which means you have a better score. So, I mean, that's kind of how I'm going to do it. We'll see if it works out or not, and if I need to make any changes or tweaks to it. When the player dies, we take away a life, so I added this little with score, with place meeting inside of this new object. I haven't tested it out, haven't put it anywhere yet. I'm going to make this a solid object, and this object won't necessarily die. But what will happen is, since we have the player spawner, when the player is instance destroyed player, the player spawner will spawn the player again. Wait, will they? Actually, it won't unless I do one more thing. So with the player spawner, I need to set player created to false again. So destroy the player and then say with O_player spawner set that variable to be, this is actually kind of like one thing. Destroy the player object and then say that the player created is false, right? How did I code it? If the player, let me look at player spawner again. What is the thing? What does it say? If there's no player created, then create the player and set it to true. So with this, I need to set it to false. So, I mean, that makes more sense. I'm like, why would I name it backwards? So with the player spawner, kill the player and then set it to be false, which means this will be running again. You know, it'll check it every frame basically. And when it turns to false again, it'll check what map we're on and then create the player. I also want to change where the player starts on the second map. So I'm going to go over here and say 70 and then 1100. 70, 1100. So let's go there if I can remember that. 70, 1100. There we go, on level 2. Let's see what we have right now. Okay, we've got some, I put a bunch of stuff in, I was expecting something to happen. If draw text at player lives less than equal to 0, what is it saying? It doesn't know what that variable is, player lives. So this is a confusing part if I haven't seen this before, but I have seen this before, so I know what's happening is it hasn't initialized an object that's storing this value yet, this variable, so I need to change the order. So object controller is trying to reference object draw text. So let's go to the title screen and go here and look at something specific. See, this gets kind of convoluted. I don't know why the text bug appears that way. If I highlight over it, it can tell me what it is. So the controller's running, then the draw text, and then the particle system. Let's see what happens if I put the draw text above it. It may fix it, it may not, but we'll see. Or I could have spelled it wrong. Player lives. Oh, because it's the wrong object. I put it on score, not draw text. Let's bring the controller back to the top and select the object controller and fix that bug. We can close this. So right here, on the controller, it's not draw text, the object is score that holds the player lives. Okay, small bug, no big deal. Next bug. Does player, okay, how did I spell it? Player underscore lives. On the create, it's not here. Wait. On the create, player underscore lives equal 5 is defined. So it's trying to look for it before it's created. The score doesn't exist in here. So that's the problem. I can't put that code on the controller because the controller is being called before the score is being called, which is fine. I'll just change that so that... What are you guys listening to today? You guys got anything interesting? I've got an SNES mix playing, so listening to Super Nintendo music. Okay, so on the controller, it's trying to reference the score here. So let's get rid of this controller code and put it somewhere else. Let's put it on the score, I suppose. We'll make a step and paste it here. We don't have to reference object.score because player lives is created here. Okay, so it won't try to do that until the score is actually being drawn. Let's see what happens now. It runs, press enter, and you can see that we have our score, we have our number of lives. We still don't have the timer yet, which we'll add. I also edited the second map a little bit. Didn't do too much with it, except took down what I currently had and rebuilt a little bit. So it's a little bit more of a platformer. Of course, that's it. That's all there is to it. And I wanted to test the spikes. So now we have lives. And I want to test what happens when we collide with this spike. So that's where we're at. Fixed a few bugs. Alright, so let's go ahead and close this. And on the first level, let's add some death spikes in here. And instead of using player collides with, can I use snap to grid? How do I snap to grid? Is there a way to enable like a grid when I'm like putting my objects down and snap them? Maybe not. Anyway, I just want to see them. So we got spikes there. Hey, what happens if we touch the spikes? We die, our lives go down. Boom. Boom. Awesome. Cool. Boom. Boom. And then after 5, it restarts you. 4, 3, 2, 1, start over. Okay, I like that. You mess up here, like, oh, dead. I mean, most likely it's not going to be hard to get across there, but if you do, fail a little bit, you'll die right there. Probably what'll happen is you'll be, boom, there goes your first life. And then I'll put spikes here too. Let's make it a little more flashy, right? I added some new particle effects. But let's make a new one for when the player hits a spike. Let's do full random. I don't want like blurry things. I want... Yeah, I kind of like that. But you know what we can also do? Is let's make this so that these dots, instead of going to the left, they kind of go up. So let's change the direction. So it says 90 to 180. How is that going to look? That goes to the top left. Let's do 90 to 270. And then what does that look like? Okay, so 90 to 270. Let's do 0 to 180. That's what I want. And instead of using the point shape line, let's create a sprite and take this effect and make a sprite. Okay, so what I'm going to do is export this tab to the clipboard, okay, minimize this, and I will duplicate this and also open up the particle system and then go to the bottom and then paste it down here, delete the emitter, and then press Control F and look for particle 1, and then replace all instances of particle 1 with spike death. Okay, cool. Replace it all. Also, that's a bug with the engine. It should go away. Yep, there it goes. Also, need to remove that particle once we just end the game. So boom, boom, put this here, and include spike death as a part type destroy function so that it gets rid of it. So we've added a new one, but instead of using point shape line, we can input a different shape as a sprite. So let's make a new sprite. Let's make it something small like 8 by 8. And I wonder if we can use an animated sprite as well. I'm going to use the middle center orientation. You can't tell very much, but it did move it. And then let's make it just like, let's make it 4 frames. And let's do, wait, that's too big, that's too big. That's pretty good. Huh. What about this one? It's never going to be centered like that, is it? What if I change it to S_spike death image, spike death image. It is an image, it's a sprite, so let's just call it sprite spike death. And let's change this to, instead, 8 by 8, let's do 12 by 12 and see if we can get a better centered circle out of that. Not quite, huh? What about a 16 by 16? Keep trying. What about a 15 by 15 then, since it's going to be off by 1? There it is. We'll use 15 by 15. And we'll use that white and then an off-white on the center. And then a third off-white. And then a fourth off-white, like this one. Boom. And then with the next frame, we take this and we can offset the entire thing by 1. So instead of picking the brightest color, actually let me copy paste this and delete these frames, and I'll do it by copy pasting, and then I'll use the fill tool to replace colors. So what I want to do, copy paste this again, copy paste this again. This one I want to take this color and start from the inside, and then this one is the same. This one goes here. Oh wait, that's kind of annoying, isn't it? Let's try this instead. Fill that, and then we'll fill this one. Yeah, I like it. Okay, cool. Right, and then we can have it like come out. Okay, hold up. That's great. See if it'll work right though, I don't know. So we don't need to make an object out of the sprite. We're going to call this sprite through the particle system. So this is combining particle animations and in sprites. So I'm going to say s underscore spike death and see if this spike death will call, instead of using, it'll pass all of these things into that animation. It's going to look different than our animation, but I'm just curious to see if it'll work, and if so, does it actually animate and change frames, and how does it work exactly? So what I'm going to do is, with this sprite that I've duplicated, I'm going to press Control F and replace all instances of Dark Magic with, what was the name of it? Spike Death. Boom. And it's simple as that. Now we can call this one by, let me rename it Spike Death. We can call that, instead of using an emitter, we just use the particle script. So now we go back, let's close everything, because I'm getting a lot of things opened. Let's close it all. Score. Now this is the only one I want open. So on the step, when it collides with the player, it does some things. It decreases the amount of lives we have, it destroys the player, and it tells this player spawner that the player is no longer created. And we also wanted to do something else. With the player, we wanted to, well, maybe not with the player, maybe with this object itself. We can say call our script spike death and pass it in X, Y, and I don't know, let's do 20 of them. So it's going to try to draw 20 of these animations when we collide. I don't know if that'll work right. I don't even know what it's going to look like, but we're going to try it. It should be cool. Chibi Evil, hello. Is this a remake of Legend of Driftwood? No, this is something completely different. Hello, Cool Sora, how are you doing? Hello, Werewolf CZ, how are you doing? Oh my gosh, I forgot to say, yeah, this is when it collides with the player, do all of this. Not outside of it, because outside of it means just do that every frame. And it didn't quite, yeah, I mean, we don't want it to play that every frame. We want it to spark once when we hit it, like boom, right? Boom. It did a thing, right? Like, now we have an animation when we die. You can't really see. It didn't quite change. It didn't quite change it the way we wanted. Boom. It's kind of weird. I mean, it is working. It's just manipulate the pixel. It's manipulating it in a way that I'm not 100% about. I'm going to keep it there. In fact, I'll reduce it to 10 though. Let's try another way to animate this. Let's create an object. We'll call it, I guess we can put it in the death object. So we'll create the death object. We'll call it O underscore player dies. Yeah, object player dies. And we'll have the, well, what did I call it? Spike death. So we're going to call it object spike death to help me organize it better. And in fact, I messed up my naming convention. I keep messing it up. Let's go back, copy this, capital letter this, go into here, and it's still spike death in the name of the particle, lowercase. But inside the particle system, I need to change one thing. It's going to say, we don't know what spike death is, because now it's capitalized, right? See how it turned red? That means it recognizes it. Fixed it to help my naming convention. Okay. What is this? This is the object, this is the spike, this is the spike death. Okay, so when this thing is created, set variables, and then the next one will be animate variables. Step, animate, animate. Set variables and animate. So when it's created, I want it to do a couple of things. I suppose we can set a lifetime. So we'll put, actually let's just do timer. Let's use timer 0. What is it called? Set timer, get timer. That is a function, but add event, alarm 0. Okay, so we're going to use an alarm on this object. So we're going to say alarm 0 equals how many seconds do we want it to last? I would say 3 seconds. So we're using 60 frames a second, so 3 times 60 is 180, so we're going to set an alarm for 180. Now what's going to happen, what am I doing? When I create this object, I'm setting a timer for 3 seconds, and in 3 seconds it's going to run the code in alarm 0. So in 3 seconds, do this, whatever we tell it to do. But it's also going to do things permanently, like as long as it's alive and active, it's going to be doing these things, and in 3 seconds, it's going to do this thing. So at the end of this, we want it to destroy itself, instance_destroy. So we know that it'll only last for 3 seconds now, but what do we want to happen in those 3 seconds? Let's make it smaller, so let's go image_xscale equals 0.3. Image_y_scale equals 0.3. That's fine. What else do we want to set? We can set image speed, we can do other things, but let's just go here and try to animate it. We don't need to rotate it, it's a circle. What we want to do is move the object in a random way. So, I know how to do image angle. Wait, because it's a circle. Rotating a circle is stupid. What is it? Direction. Image direction? Is there a direction? Direction. Give it a direction and a speed. Yeah, then it'll move. Okay, so we're going to say direction equals, and this is a number from 0 to 360. I think 0 is right, and then like 90 is down, and then 180 is left, and then 270 is up, or the opposite. We'll find out for sure. As a matter of fact, I can middle click and it'll tell me. Direction starts at right is 90, up, calculate as 0 being right, 90 being up, 180 being left, 270 being down. So it goes like 0 is here, 90 up here, 180 right here, and 270 right there. So if we want it to go, why don't we do it like Mega Man and split out in all 360 degrees? That sounds kind of cool. So let's do that. Direction equals random range of between 0 and 359. Because 360 would still be 0. Because we can say 1 to 360 or 0 to 359. We could even say 2 to 361, and it'll just kind of divide it by 360 if it gets over it. Epilepsy. So we're going to set this to, when it's created, it's given a direction to move in at a random range. But we're also going to give it a built-in speed. This is going to make it move. This is a cheap, easy way to make it move. So we're going to say speed of, let's make it kind of slow, actually. Let's make it slower than the player. Let's make it 1. So it's going to move very slow. We'll create a bunch of these, actually. We'll make like an emitter. We'll do a repeat. So over here, where we have spike death, we'll do a repeat instance. Wait, how do we go? We repeat 10, and then we go like this, and we say, what do we want to repeat? Instance, create, layer, and what are we creating? We're creating it here, there, x, y, on the instances layer, and then what are we creating? We're creating object underscore spike death. Right? So it's going to create 10 of these. They're going to all have a random range and go in a random direction and animate. But we also want them to go up and down in size. So we'll do the same thing we did with the portal. So let's open portal and see how we set up our step animation right there. So we've set up a growing and shrinking variable inside the create of here. So what I'll do is do the same thing. I'll set a growing switch in here. So growing equals true, and now on the step we can reference that and it won't crash, and what we'll say is the same thing right here. we'll do the same thing, copy this, put it right here, boom. Now this is going to make its image X scale and Y scale go up and down by a set amount until it gets 50% bigger or 50% smaller. But in this case, we don't want it to be 50% smaller. We want it to go back to its original size because it's already being shrunk in default. So yeah, we do want to go 50% smaller. We'll actually go up to 3. So it'll be more of a pulsing thing. And we'll increase the rate at which it gets bigger and smaller by 10. So it's going to get bigger and smaller faster. In fact, we'll go like 0.3 and even up to like, well, 3 that's going to be big because it's 15, so it's going to, let's just make it 2. Let's make it down to 0.2 all the way up to 2 and pulsing pretty quickly. And we'll see how that looks. After 3 seconds happens, it's going to kill itself, but what we can do on top of that is before we can have it call a particle effect. So we're just kind of stacking animations of particle effects trying to make it look cool. Let's do a P_Megaman, which we'll do at X, Y, and then we'll actually just do 3, a smaller amount of them. So we're calling the Megaman particle script, and then we're killing it in 3 seconds. I have no idea really like how it's gonna look. It's probably gonna crash because we might have something wrong. But let's just see what happens really. Oh yeah, we already set this up on the spike. So once the player collides with it, it'll do all of these things and repeat this 10 times and kill it, kill the player and stuff. Okay. Okay, so 3 seconds is too long. Let's set the alarm to be 60 seconds. And that means in 1 second it does that. I love how it does that. And the speeds seem to be about right. But the repeat 10 needs to be more like repeat 30. Let's try this. Is too much. Let's go with 16. Repeat it 18 times. 16 is a nice number. Mega Man, it was like precisely set up the same amount and in each direction. This is picking a random direction. Also, the Mega Man particle effect at the end could be different. I mean, I kind of like it. The problem is the player won't see it because they are immediately reset. So instead of just creating the player like that, what if we put some sort of alarm and then create the player at that point? Because the player will be warped away. Yeah, we're adding deaths and lose conditions. So this is what we have right now. But I think when the player dies, I don't want them to spawn immediately. So I'm going to adjust the player spawner a little bit so that the player spawner will take like a second and a half or even 2 seconds to respawn the player. So the camera stays there where you die, and then it respawns 2 seconds later. So let's change the player spawner a little bit, or, you know what, we don't actually have to change the player spawner. What we can do with our spike is when we destroy the player, we can set an alarm. So when we destroy the player, we'll say alarm 0 right here equals 90, a second and a half. And then we'll cut out this little section, and then we'll go to add another an event, and we'll say alarm 0, and this will be respawn after 2 seconds. Paste that in there, and 2 seconds would be 120. So that might just fix it right there without having to adjust the way we've already set up. So the player doesn't have to wait when they start. It's like immediately spawn, but then when you die, boom. Isn't that cool? I don't like the last animation on it. So we need to change that last animation where it goes psh. Let's change that one to something else. Let's just let's make another one. So after the player, full random, ideal random. That's a very simple sparkle little one like that. I like that. Let's make sure that it goes in all directions because it kind of matches. So let's do 0 to 359. Make sure that it's going in all different directions. And let's, I'm going to call this simple spark. Let's export this to the clipboard. Okay, bring this down, open our particle system. That's the player spawner. Open our particle system, go in here, go like this, go to the bottom, paste this in here, get rid of the emitter, and press Control F, replace all instances of particle 1 with simple spark, and go, boom. Now we have simple spark in here. I'll fix this by going like this, the little warnings, they're not right, they're not supposed to do that. Okay, there it is. Now, same thing going to apply here. We'll just type in the same thing at the end. We're going to do part type destroy, and then we'll do simple spark. Got an extra brace in there. Going to do an inline. Okay, so at the end of the game, it gets rid of it. Now that we have that, let's do our custom emitter, where I can just duplicate this, rename it so that it says simple spark. And then I will press Control F, replace all instances of spike death with simple spark. And go, it's done. So now I can call simple spark instead of doing the Mega Man 1. So right here, after the alarm goes off, instead of calling this, we're going to call simple spark and actually give it a good 12 particles. And we'll say OK. And let's take a look at the way it looks now, because it felt like it was a little too much, a little bit going. Yeah, you see how they just kind of like fizzle? Boom, they explode. They don't just disappear, they go tss into little particles. Boom. 12 is too much. Let's do 8. Even more minimalistic here. Boom. I love it. It's so cool. We'll make custom sound effects too later on. Cool. I mean, now we can just propagate those and put those spikes. We can get rid of this thing, I like it. We can get rid of this thing, I like it. It's doing everything it's supposed to do, so now we get rid of looking at that stuff. And instead go to our instances layer and start putting down spikes and work on some level design for a little bit. Let's drag in some more instances of spikes. Where else should we put spikes? Nah, that's too hard. Just by throwing some spikes in, we're going to increase the difficulty of the game. We need to make a game over screen, don't we? No! You know, it's looking more like a game. I'm actually forgetting my, I need to change the animation on this. I just don't like it. It looks kind of weird and like, what is this, blobs of circle? This one keeps getting me. You know, I've seen a lot of games that have like like they're tricking the player. Like it looks like there's a spike there, but there's really not. And then there's other times where it looks like it's safe, but there's actually some kind of spike there. I don't want to make one of those games, but I am intrigued by the idea of doing something like that. Oh! Oh no! I've managed to make it difficult. It feels good too, like the controls aren't too bad. I kind of feel like the hitbox is a little much right here, because you kind of die if you stand right here a little bit too much. Let me go back to this spike and really mess with the collision mask to make sure that it's, maybe it's the, not the full image, but it's a manual. Go like this, no. It's got to be a box to be diamond. Precise is slow. Rectangle with rotation. I think like automatic is everything, full image is everything. Manual is where it kind of eats up more resources, but I don't think it'll be a problem. You know, we could go like that. Just raise that. Yep, I think that's the best idea. So you still die if you kind of like, what if I diamond? Diamond makes more sense. There. I made the collision only this spiky part. Like this touching this side won't kill you. That way when you walk into it, it doesn't immediately kill you. I do wonder though if, if that's going to make it like where you can walk into them. I don't need to be able to walk into them. So that'll change the difficulty dramatically, just the collision boxes. You still die if you land on them. Let's try to walk into them over here. What happens? How close can we get? You'll still, you'll still die, just fine. Like, that's what we wanted actually. But you can get, yeah, see that's what I wanted. To be able to be that close to it. That's good. That's how close you should be able to get. But if you take one more frame, boom, you're dead. There we go. That decreases the difficulty quite a bit, because the box is kind of large. Now it's a diamond, and it's a lot shorter. Oh, that one's cheeky. Wait, that's tough. Actually, I think I need to change that. That one is not quite fair. Yeah, it's kind of impossible. Let me get rid of, let me fix that bug. Level 1. Over here, let's get rid of this one and this one. And put this in the middle. It doesn't actually have to be like directly. That's a good thing about it. It doesn't have to be. It's not based on a tile. It's an object that's just there. Now, if you fall and try to go to the right, you'll hit it. Can I make it from there? What about if I run like that? No, because you do hit your head right there, which is what I wanted. Oh no, you can make it. So that's going to be your speedrunner tactic right there. It's still a tough spot to die. Got to get it just right. So it is kind of a skill-based thing. How much time do you really save, though? You know. There you go. You just kind of hold it. You go all the way back, and then you go like that. I think you can get good at it if you just practice it. But it is a risk, though, because you don't always make it. Yeah, you can get over that one, too. And that one, you have to jump up here and jump over it. There you go. Okay, so on the next level, I want to incorporate a new mechanic. Like each level, I want to add another mechanic until the player is just quickly overwhelmed with mechanics and then they die. Because I won't have a ton of stages, so each stage has to like increasingly get harder. And I don't want to just put a giant row of spikes. I mean, I could do that. I just need to make a row of spikes that's underneath where you would fall. Like right here. And too many spikes to jump over to clear. The character you're playing as kind of looks like the character from Undertale, does it? I don't know, maybe. This is Don't Pee Your Pants Simulator. No, I'm not 100% on that name. This is an idea. Okay, so we got spikes. What is it? We made a death animation. Chara is the name. Oh, I'm so stupid. So the first level feels right. Of course, this part is a little difficult. Because I don't know if I should allow that. If you go left, you get to click on 3. It takes off 3 seconds. But does it take more than 3 seconds to come across here? 1, 2. And you can click these. So do you save 2 seconds by going this way and up? No, you lose 2 seconds. So I either cut my level short and allow this, or I don't allow this. And I think that's what I'm going to do. So what we'll do is go to the collision layer, turn it on, go to this, and add one collision box right here. It's not going to be an invisible collision box. We're going to go to the foreground tiles and select this. Actually, we can just set this with one tile. We can turn off the collision box now. Put this one right here, and this one right here. Oh wait, I need a different one, don't I? And I also need this. How does it handle that, actually? It does, though. It auto-tiles it nicely. So I have a tile that is, it's this one. Boom. There it is. So now you can't jump over there, but you can make it from there. I will also zoom in right here and get rid of this one. So this will be like that. And this one will be like this. And up and then to the left, it's this one. This is gone. Yep. And then I go to collision layer. I also get rid of that on the collision layer. Yep. I could actually get rid of this one too, but I don't know. I want you to be able to jump across here. Falling makes more sense, but if you fall straight down, you go on a spike. I don't know, I feel like it's an alright level. Okay? It's a level 1, introducing you to the mechanics. Actually, you're smart. Toby said she was named Chara as a short for character. As long as Toby said it, it's okay. You guys know how much that game made? I did the math the other day. I could be wrong because I don't have all of the taxes, and I'm sure it's less than this number as far as what Toby brought in. But it's over 60 million what the game made. He made it in GameMaker, and the game sold like... Was it sold like 4 million copies now? Something like that. $60 million, guys. Toby obviously he didn't see 60 million of it. I would say he probably maybe saw half of it After taxes, probably less than that, but still, bringing in $30 million for a game that you made yourself, that is such a good spot for a spike. $30 million, guys. The game made over $60 million, and the designer, Toby Fox, probably saw around 30. Probably saw around 30 million. So, you want to design games, huh? Don't let anyone tell you that it's a waste of your time, because they have no idea what they're talking about. And it's never been a better time to make games than right now. Of course, you have this golden age, but it's never been more accessible. You've had a golden age, and like certain things, it's hard to say. Like there were probably better times for better genres, like for better times for certain genres. But in general, making games has never been more accessible than it is right now. This level is challenging. It's not overly hard, but it's not an easy platformer. All things considered on this little silly level. I do find the death animation satisfying, though. The thing I don't like right now is the animation of the spinning clouds. They look so weird and like, what the heck is it? It's just like green and white, and it's like things that are spinning but in a square. I'm gonna change it. It's bothering me, so I'm gonna change it right now, probably. Okay, cool. Got it. All right, let's make a new animation for the clickies. I kind of feel like it should be a little bit smaller to emphasize accuracy. S underscore, what did I call the other one? Clicky one? We'll call it Clicky2. Clicky02. And we're going to set this to be smaller. Instead of 64, it's going to be a 32 by 32. Or maybe that one was a 32 by 32. Hold up, what was it? It is a 32 by 32. Let's set it to 16 by 16. Or even just the next size down, 24 by 24. Set it to middle center. How many frames did I have in that one? It was a lot of frames. 8 frames, okay. Let's do a little less. Let's do 6 frames. And what I'm going to do is I don't like this. Let's pick some colors. Let's go with like something that'll stick out. I need like a good theme. I need to theme this a little bit. What's my theme? Okay. Oh wait, can't you do layers? Let's do layers. Let's hold up, let's make a new layer. Add a layer to all frames. This will be below it though. And what we can do is have a little thing spinning or something in the background. Like a, what color? Bright purple? Let's do another layer beneath that. Cool. Let's do another layer beneath all of them. And make it something like that. Okay. Not sure yet. Let's change the, instead of calling this, hold on, because I'm using, and it'll be fine. I'll just change this to clicky2 and set this to that, and we'll never speak of clicky1 again. Clicky1 does not exist, guys. Clicky1 never was. I do like it better. It's a little bit smaller. It's more inviting. Like, what is it? It's distracting, so it throws you off your platform game. It looks better, and okay. All right. Clicky1 will always be remembered in my heart. We'll never speak of Clicky1 again. Okay, so I feel like we have to do some level designing. What's the general idea between this? It's just going to be, I mean, it's plenty of space to do something massive. But maybe we make a power-up that makes the player faster. Let's make a power-up. So what do we need the components to a power-up? An image, the player that can run in contact with, which adds a state, and if they're under the effect of the state, then we add to, we kind of have to change our movement. But we can keep it the same and then add a new variable, plus speed boost. Okay, so on the player object, I'm going to look at the programming side before I make the art side, so I can see. Let's make a speed boost for this big map. Somewhere in the player, I want to control the speed, because the speed is defined as 3 at the beginning, move speed, and then it's not adjusted at all. But I want to be able to adjust it and put it back without causing bugs. So Hello, Loca Luke. How are you doing? So we're making a speed boost now. For dx, direction of the x value will be move speed times that, but we can also add plus, encapsulate all of that, as if it doesn't have enough encapsulations already, and put plus move speed, not move speed, but plus speed boost. No, we don't encapsulate all of this. We have to encapsulate move speed itself. So let's do speed boost right now. Speed boost equals 0. We're going to create this from the get-go. We'll make a variable called speed boost. Yeah, it's saying you're not using it anymore. Of course not, because I just created it. And then what we'll do is encapsulate move speed to specifically say I want to calculate something in plus speed boost. So it'll be move speed plus speed boost times this. So now we can just add to move speed without adjusting move speed at all. That way we don't change the value of dx. And if we change speed boost back to 0, this goes back to 0. Unforgivable, Jazz. Hey, baby. Yeah, there we go. We've got a speed boost. Now we just need a way to manipulate speed boost. Let's make an object. Let's create, well, we can make a sprite, I suppose. What is our, let's make a new sprite. This is going to be the animation s_speed boost. And speed boost will be a 16 by 16. And of course we're going to animate it because we like to add extra levels. Let's take this first one. It's got to be green. Or what about if we do something that kind of makes sense, that just put an S on it? Let's do that. Let's go like this. Where's our, here we go, size 1, size 2. Then we take this. Wait, what is all this? Oh my gosh. Undo. How much history do we have? That's it. That's all the history it has. Okay, great. Good job. Good job, GMS2. You're amazing. I probably should just use a sprite, to be honest. But let's power through it a bit. Of course, we need to change the color for it to come through. Wait, what is happening? Do I drag and drop? Oh, you can't have font with only 2 pixels. Let's try 8, because it's such a small size game. 4, and it still has the same color. Let's go like this in the center. Change the color. Hold up. I gotta get this. What? Why is it doing this? Okay, let's try again. Let's select this, then say size, you know what, size 12. It needs space. And then in here, we press this, and then we change the color to purple, and then we type S. No, we don't do it that way. We change the color, then we take this, and we go like this, and we type S. Hey, I think we're getting there. Can I raise this up a little bit? What about if I go like this? Hold on. Commit changes? Yes. No. let's let's do a new layer. Yeah, that makes sense. Let's change the color to purple, go like this, change the size to 16, nope, we are only 16 pixels, 14, and then we select in the center, and we type S, and then say, you know what, I will commit the changes, because you know what I can do is a transparent layer. I can take this and select it, right, and then move it. Oh my god, I'm a genius. Can I stretch it? Can I stretch it? Can I like free transform this baby? Nope. None of that is going to be a thing you do. So we're going to do that, just like that. S. 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. Okay, hold on. Let's give a border. Yeah, now we're getting somewhere. Now we're cooking with gasoline. Okay. There it is. Our package of S. That's our S package. We need one more with a big yellow border. Speed boost. And then we copy paste. Can we do something? I probably should have put the borders on a separate layer, but that's fine. Can we do any kind of filtering or anything? What is this, rotate? No, undo. What? No, redo. Wait, hold on. Edit, redo. Control Y, redo. What is this dot? What the heck is this? What is this thing? What is that? Is that anything? No, it's nothing, right? Let's copy, paste, and then this is gone, right? What is this little squiggle? How did that get there? It's nothing. It's nothing. That's fine. You know what? I think we got it. We got it. What I'm going to do is just change the colors so that it like flashes a different color, or even better, remove colors so that it shows the background. And can we do that? Nope, that's the right click. Wait, hold on. I think I can just go like this and say transparency alpha 0. Boom. Bang. And it does, but this is the background. Right? What is happening? Oh, I'm painting a transparent color on top of a color, but it's not exactly erasing it. What if I go like this? That erases it. Okay, hold on. Let's go like this, and on this layer, go like this. Can I just do this? And then it looks like this. But we'll change the speed, right? This yellow border thing is a little annoying. Let's change it to be like match a little bit better. Giant royal purple. No, it takes away. It needs to be lighter and more transparent. Yep, so let's take this color. Where's this at? What color is this? This is the yellow. This is this one. Let's take the alpha down a bit. Let's overwrite this with this. It's a little much. It's a little much on my eyes. There we go. Now it's a little softer. Okay, cool. There it is. We did it. We'll set this to middle center. Amazing. Okay, now we create an object. This will go under, I guess, player objects, because it's manipulating the player's stuff. So we'll call this O_speed boost. And we will assign it the speed boost thing. And what this will do is, what do we want it to do? When it collides with the player, we want to do stuff like animate and apply state, right? So when it collides on this single frame, what we need it to do is let's cause the animation. The animation will be, we have some The dark magic one. Okay. Dark magic. We'll say X, Y, and a million of them. No, 20 is fine. Okay, so it plays a particle effect, and it's calling a script that we're using in the place of an emitter on a particle system. And then we're going to add a state. This is going to be interesting. Maybe we have to create a state on the player, and if that state is on, then speed is this. If that state is off, then speed is something else. Let's just, I mean, I could make a state engine, but I want to make it something simple. So, or I can just say with this, do that, but then there's got to be an alarm or something, but I also want this to disappear. Oh, I have an idea. Okay, I got it. We'll say with O underscore player. We will put this and say that the player is animated like that. Afterwards, at the very end, we are going to instance underscore destroy this object. But with the player, we're going to do this animation, and then alarm. Do we have an alarm on the player yet? Equals, how long do we want it to last? 600? Where's the player's? Let's open the player object. We have no alarm, so what we'll do is we'll set an alarm for 10 seconds. So we'll say alarm 0. And what this will do is after 10 seconds, we'll just say remove speed buff. Remove speed buff. Speed bug. I hope it's not a speed bug. Probably will be. So 10 seconds of moving super fast. How fast? I don't know. Let's triple our speed. Or double it. Double it. So we'll set speed boost equals 3, because we're moving at speed of 3. Actually, we'll set speed buff boost back to 0, because we're removing it. We're setting it here to say it's 0, and then after 10 seconds it's set to 0. So we get this thing. We can also add a state that makes us like have yep, I'm going to do that. So let's do something right here on the player that says if. First we have to go to create. So let's create a Boolean saying is speed boosted equals false from default. Yes, and then what we'll do right here is we'll say if is speed boosted, then we'll have it play just a simple particle effect. We'll change it. We'll change it. We'll say dark magic X, Y, and then we'll just say like 4 because it's going to animate every frame, or 3. Yeah, 3 makes sense. So while we're speed boosted, it's going to call this script, and that's it. That's all it's going to do. So when if this goes to false, then it'll stop doing that. So on the alarm, we need to say speed boost back to 0 and say is speed boosted equals false. Okay, so that's a removal condition. Now I need to apply that. So when we touch the speed boost, we call this like a big dark magic one, set the alarm, but we also need to do something before we set the alarm. We need to say, so this is with the player, we're going to say speed boost, yes, equals 3, and is speed boosted equals true. And then set an alarm for 10 seconds on this event. So in 10 seconds, even though we're destroying this event, in 10 seconds, this is going to fire, and it's going to remove the speed boost state, and also remove the speed boost, and we've manipulated the speed not by changing the speed, but by adding a speed boost to the move speed, so we're not changing our collision at all. Of course, it might cause collision problems. In fact, it's probably going to cause collision problems, so I might have to scrap this and do some different method. But let's try it before we just say it won't work. Let's put speed boost somewhere. Speed boost doesn't need to be introduced on the first one because, well, we're testing it. So let's just put it at the beginning here. But what I'll actually do is only put the speed boost on the next map and introduce more things on each new map. So it keeps the previous things, but it adds more things so that like the player will become overwhelmed eventually, and that'll just see how good the player is. So it'll be a skill-based platformer with clicking elements and self-time trial stuff. Whatever. Okay, we got to be on the right layer. Let's go to the instance layer, drag and drop the speed boost. We're going to put the speed boost right here and see what happens. Might crash. It's probably going to crash because there's probably bugs, right? You do all this stuff, you're going to have a bug at first. It loaded. We have speed boost. Okay, when we touch it, are we going to crash? Oh my god, I can't even see the player. What is happening? Oh, I died. Oh my gosh. So now we have to decide, do we want the speed boost to persist through a death? Or do we want it to not? I actually don't have to kill myself. I can just press a button to restart. But I like seeing the animations. So we got the speed boost. It's confusing because you can't even see yourself. I don't think that's our intended effect. Okay, we gotta drop down the number of particles that's playing here. So let's change this to 10, and let's change the is speed boost's thing to just do one particle. Okay, we've cut it in half and even more than half. Let's see what happens. Boom, bump, bump, bada, bump, bump, down. You can kind of see yourself bump, 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 down, bump, bump, bump. Another problem is it's not like centered. The particle effect isn't quite centered, you see? We also need to make sure that it'll wear off, and it does. It wears off right on time, okay. Let's do it again. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Well, it lasted till then. 1, 2. I can't even survive for 10 seconds. Okay, I feel like 10 seconds is good. It did wear off. I thought I saw it wear off, so that's good. Okay, it's not the best. Like this is like the first when you get it, a little it works good, but then I feel like this one needs to be a different one. Let's make a new particle effect for it. Something else. We could even take. Gosh, don't move the emitter. What did I do? Oh my god, what happened? How did I change? What is this going on? Hold up. Move system? Nope, don't move. Particle one. There we go. I went to emitter. Full random. I could, instead of using these built-in particles, shapes, I can use sprites like I did before with a particle emitter thing. Once I find the right type of emitter thing, I'll make a sprite for it and see if we can make a cooler looking, like, star move, I guess. I mean, that looks cool, but nah, it's going too far. It's going to clog up the screen. We don't want it to clog up the screen. We kind of want it to be something like that, to be honest. Let's change the direction from that to 0, 3, 5, 9. So it's going in all directions. And then we'll also... I think the life is still too long minimum. Let's do 20 and 30. So it doesn't survive as long. Also the, what is it called? Gravity, direction, amount of 0 gravity on that, okay? Orientation, second life, there we go. It's still too long. Let's do 10. It needs to like fade out quicker. And 15. Is it not fading out quicker? I don't know. The color, we can change the color too. But it is kind of green, so let's just change this one to like a light purple and see what happens. It doesn't survive long enough to switch to purple. Let's make the speed lower then. Let's go 4 and 6. Because it looks small here, but remember we're using a small resolution. 0 to 1. With 7 wiggles too much. 1 wiggle. There it is. That's kind of what I wanted. A little like da 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 da. All right, that'll work. Let's take this particle effect. I don't know what to call it. Oops, not a file. Just a clipboard. I don't need to make a file of it. Because then I could just go to the particle system, not the player spawner, the particle sys. I should have just called it system, but whatever. Put it in here, paste this, get rid of the emitter. Control F, replace particle 1 with, what do we call it? Speed boost. Okay, that's what we'll call it, speed boost. Boom. Yeah, boom, 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 and then it should fix itself. Come on, warnings, go away, warnings. Oops, and then come on. Here, we just kind of, let's do it quickly. Copy this, paste this, go like this. Speed boost, got it? Wait, is this going to reference something else? No, it's going to reference this object. Okay, I'm stupid. All right, that's fine. So we're done with this. We're calling a speed boost. Let's go with this thing. Copy, actually just duplicate this. Come on. Duplicate, Control D. That's the short and sweet of it. And we'll call this speed boost. And then press Control F. Find all instances of what is this one? Simple spark. And replace it with speed boost. Go. Done. Okay. Now we can reference speed boost. So whenever we do this, we do speed boost and just have one per frame, because that's 60 per second. The things you're going to see fly out. Let's see what that looks like, and then I'll make a sprite, and so we'll replace a particle type. Yeah, see, that's not what I want, but it's about the right. It's the right idea, but it needs to be a sprite. So let's make our own sprite. Did our speed go back? Yeah, our speed went back. Oops. Create a sprite. S_speed boost anim. And this will be a small little sprite of like 8 by 8, and it doesn't necessarily need to be animated, but we can animate it. Just think of something quick to do a quick animation. Let's just go like this in circles. And what colors? Probably the same green ones. Let's import colors from this speed boost one. What? Copy colors to sprite speed. No. Import colors from this one. Didn't do it. Whatever. I got an idea. Okay, so what I'll do is I'm going to animate it, but slowly. So let's do like 8 and add some frames. 8 frames is good. Yeah, we'll go like this. Like that, and then I'll select another color, like maybe a purple one. And then I'll select another, maybe like a yellow one. And then one more blue. There we go. I mean, that'll work. And And now we replace the particle type with the name. Let's do this in middle center real quick. So we'll use this name, S Speed Boost Anims sprite, in the place of on the actual particle itself, because we created it for this purpose. So let's go back to our particle system, go at the bottom, and replace the particle shaped circle with the sprite Speed Boost Anim, and hit copy. So when I copy this database, this particle system database, to the next game, I'll have to comment out this one or change the animation, right? Like I did. I could use this particle, but I have to find Sprite Sun 1 or replace Sprite Sun 1 with a different one. So I mean, I'm still going to keep it in there and keep adding to my own list of particles that I've created from game to game, and then just change the shape to a sprite, and therefore creating new particles in each system using the same context or the same code. I think that's all I have to do is just replace this, because it's referencing Speed Boost, so it should look different now. Oh my god, it looks amazing. Okay, wait, not necessarily so. What happened? Everything goes crazy, look at it. Dun dun. What? Why? Why does that happen? Everything has like this weird streak effect to it. I can't even see anything when it happens. Obviously, this is not what I wanted. Why is everything... It does look kind of trippy, but that is not what I was going for. Why did everything go... What even was that? Okay, I gotta change something. Let's look inside here. What are we doing with the size? We're making it, it's smaller. The scale, okay. Let's bring the scale. Let's do 0, and then okay, color, alpha, speed, direction, gravity, blending mode, and then lifetime. So I brought the scale down, but that's still... What is actually happening here? It's only calling Speed Boost once a frame on the player, X and Y of the player. Why does the whole map turn white? Speed Boost Anim is a small 8 pixel by 8 pixel animation. It should just show sparkles coming off. Oh, I gotta get it first. Okay, that's not intended. In fact, it's so bright. Wow, you can still click these even after you die, because that apparently is a thing. So wait, let me see. If I die, I can still click it. Let's fix that bug. So on the clicky object, we have to say, nope, not the sprite. On the clicky2 object, let's make sure that we have a condition saying if player object exists. If object exists O_player, then home tab, like that. So if player exists, wait, what did I do wrong? Oh, this is here. If there's a player and we click on it, then increase the score, play an animation, and destroy itself. Let's up this to 30 and decrease a little bit on the Mega Man animation a little bit. I think it's a little weird and wonky. So let's close this, go back to my particle system, and go up to Mega Man. Come on. Why you did this? Scale can go down a bit. Huh. 1 and 1.5. There you go. Size 0.05, 0.15. That's growth. Shape ring, we could change that to Blend mode. Let's change blend mode to 0 and see what happens. Maybe blend mode 0 is causing some problems. Ah, I see. That is not what is supposed to happen. What? Why? This game just got insane. I think blend mode 1 is better. I don't know. I need to think about this. I gotta go pee. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. I don't know why it's making the entire screen white. Can anybody shed some light on? I think it has something to do with playing. It just looks crazy. I think it has something to do with playing a sprite that has multiple frames of animation inside of a repeating particle effect. I mean, I could try to, and I'm still allowed to click these even after I die, which is fascinating. So that's not quite right. Yeah, why? Let's look at this. When we're calling, nope, not that. When we're calling this animation, right here, this slow, sparkly animation, 8 frames, 8 pixels, it just makes everything go completely widescreen. Does anybody have some ideas as to why that's happening? Is it because it has multiple frames of animation? I have an idea. Let's duplicate this, and we'll call this 2. But on this one, I delete all of these animations, and it's just got 1 frame. This is just to solve a problem real quick. And in the particle system, if I change this to 2, now it's just calling an animation, or not an animation, it's calling a sprite. So we're just using a sprite. We get it. Nope, it still does it. Literally does the same thing. So, I mean, I don't want this now. Let's delete that replica. Cheap replica. And put that back to the first one. Scale, color, alpha, speed, direction, gravity, orientation, blend mode, life. I mean, the particle effect is doing this, so that's very minimal. Okay, hold on. Let's put. No, we tried it with part shape circle, and it's not what we want. We wanted an animation. The problem happened when we put a sprite in here, obviously. But I've done this before. Like with Spike Death, we call Spike Death animation, don't we? Let's look at Spike Death. Yeah, look, we're calling particle Spike Death. And when we jump on a spike, it plays that, it plays boom. and it doesn't go crazy. Hey, that's better. That actually looks more like what I want it to be when I click on it. I keep messing with it until it turns out to be what I want it to look like. And I do like that now. Boom. Boom. Cool. Boom. 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 Yeah, I like that. Huh. But when we get the speed boost, everything goes bananas. Okay. I suppose what I can do is... Enclose spike. Enclose our particle system. I mean... Why? Why you do this? Why you do this? What if we don't use it as a particle effect? Let's just do instance underscore create layer, and we say x, y, instances, and we create a new object called speed boost anim. Yeah, like that. I was like, hey, that doesn't exist. I know. So on the player, let's create a new object. We'll call it O underscore speed boost anim. Now it does. We give it a sprite, the speed boost anim, right there. And when it's created, do we need to do anything? Yeah, we want to give it speed and direction. So speed equals 0.5, direction equals random range of 0 to 359, and alarm 0 equals 60. 45, kind of quick. No, 30, half a second. Yeah, and then we'll make an alarm 0. So kill self. Note to self, kill self. Instance destroy after 30 seconds. We'll make a step phase. So while it is alive, look pretty. That's its goal. Image, angle, angel. You are my angle and my devil. Image angle equal random range 0 to 360, 0 359. Image. I guess we can change the blend mode equal random range between. How many blend modes are there? 0 and what, 3? How many blend modes do we got? Oh, we can change the color. Or we can just say random. Random. We could do a var. We can't use structs, but we can enum to put a list. Or we can make a DS list. That's what I mean. Data structure. And just to like store a few things. I don't know. I'm going to try stupid stuff and see what happens. Var color picker equals. Can I make an array like that? Temporary var. It's only referenced once, but it still says it works. I can't use push and pop, can I? What is GML's equivalent of push and pop? GML equivalent of push and pop. Queue and unqueue? Wait, list add? That's for lists. Var I. Where are we using an array? I suppose I should bring this over here. I'm just looking at some random stuff. These things usually lead to various things. Stack pop. Okay, hold up. Let me just go pop. DS stack pop. Okay. A DS list. C white, C black, C red, C dog run, blue, C aqua, C green, I don't know. C, is there purple? It's gotta be purple, right? Okay. Well, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Random color picker. Index array, random, range, 0, 6, random color picker, random range, 0 to 6, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then blend mode will be that. So it'll be a random. That's going to return a number, won't it? Why don't I just go like this? Blend mode is will return this variable. So it'll pick one of these blend modes. I think that'll work. We'll probably syntax error. We'll see what happens. I don't want to make a DS list or anything. But I do want to just have it randomized, because why not? Try to code something different. Okay, that's our blend mode. Angle, blend mode. I suppose we can change the speed. Speed equals random range. Anywhere from 0.1 to 1. 0.8. A little bit. There we go. All right. Now what we do is we create this half-a-second animation that starts at the player's X and Y. Speed boost anim, object speed boost anim. Oh, I need a comma. I'm like, why isn't it working? Because I need a comma. You big dummy dum-dum. Alright. So if we are speed boosted, we're just going to keep creating these things every frame. I don't know if that's smart, but we'll see what happens. Because we've assigned it that. And so now, instead of calling a particle effect when we're speed boosted, it should, oh my god, come on fingers, work with me today. It shouldn't make the screen super white flashy and destroy everything. It should just draw sprites. Yeah, like that. It's drawing stuff. Oh my god. Right, that's all I wanted. You move super fast, it's kind of dangerous. It's not made to be right here. so hard with the speed boost. But you don't like that? You don't like the way that I said that I made it so... You like the super white bright screen where you can't see where you're going? Better? Is that what you're saying? I also got to fix this. Watch. I die, but I can still... Wait, hold up. I die, but I can still click things? That's not right. That's not the way it's supposed to be. You should only be able to click them if your player's alive. So let's go back to clicky stuffy. If object exists, player, with score, do that, and destroy it. That's better than before. It could be... I could change the size a little bit. You know what else I could do is have it draw on top. I can just draw it on the top particle layer, because I'm kind of using it like a particle. Let me just draw it to the top particle layer. We can close it now. Close that. You know what? Let's close this. Instead of on instances, we can just draw it to top particle layer. So it'll be on top of the player now. Actually, yeah, let's change it so that it also changes its size. So image underscore, but slightly. X scale equals random range. It's set to 1, so we'll say 0.8 to 2. And then image Y scale. I mean, we could stretch that too. It doesn't have to equal image X scale. But let's do that first. We can go half size to double size. In proportion or out of proportion. This will make it proportionately X to Y always the same. Plus it's going to draw on top now instead of behind the player. Kind of looks gross now. Yeah, it needs to be behind the player. Some of the blend modes are bad. Let's take out a couple of the darker ones. Maybe red. Get rid of red. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Put it back behind the player. Well. It is what it is. I think it does signify that something's different, which it should, because you're able to move faster. I gotta fix that. Why isn't that working? So obviously the player still exists after I kill it? What? Because it's just still letting me click. It's still letting me click on it, and when I do, I think that's part of the engine. It kind of keeps it in so it doesn't crash as many times when you destroy objects. And like a shooter, like you kill something and then it's looking for the thing you killed with the second bullet and it crashes. It's like a fail-safe. So the player still exists, even though you kind of destroy it for a frame or so. Or for some amount of time, I don't know. But I think I can get around this. Instead of using if the object exists, we can just set a switch. Let's do a Boolean value. Let's say if something, if player is alive. I'm not following a naming convention like I should be. Player is alive. So if player's alive, you click on that, blah, blah, blah. But where do we define player is alive? We have to add, or we have to create, is player, does Bruno Mars is gay? Is player alive? Well, by default, it shouldn't be here. Nah, we don't want this crate. Get rid of the crate. Delete. We have to check with object underscore player dot player is alive. Is it saying? Oh, because I'm only using it there, which is right. I should now open player. And when the player is created, on its creation, we say player is alive equals true. But we need a way to turn player is alive off as well. So when we kill the player by some... How does the player die? All of these things. So right here. So player created false step. When we instance destroy, we'll also say... What we can do is... with object player instance destroy. Now we don't have to reference him, he's in there. We also need to go like this. And we also say player is alive equals false. And when he's created again, it'll be set to true again. That way we can get behind the game's failsafe of crashing when something is gone, once it's been loaded. But the Boolean values should change that frame, that very frame. So now, wait, we have to do one more thing. We have to make sure that we're checking object.player is alive. So if player is alive, then with the score do this stuff, and yada yada yada. So now if we're dead, the player's dead, we shouldn't be able to click on these things. Let's click on them when we're alive first. Still works. We're dead. It crashes. Of course it's going to crash because it's looking for a variable inside a player object, which obviously doesn't exist, so I don't understand why it doesn't work when the object doesn't exist in the first place. GMS. Why are you doing this? But what I can do is just mitigate where it's looking for this code. In fact, why don't I store it locally like I originally decided I was going to do? The only difference is, I could just say if it's there, but if object exists may not actually apply. It can crash my player somewhere else. Does player is gay? Player is alive equals null. No, doesn't do anything. Void doesn't do anything. I guess when these are all created, it's true because it's on the create. It just has to be there. And it's just set to false. Okay, so let's go to the player, and I'm going to comment this out, leave it there for now. suppose I can move this now. Put it right here. Object underscore clicky 02. But then I'm going to have to, I don't want it on clicky 02 because I'm going to have multiple clickies, aren't I? This is just like doomed to give me a headache. Okay. Just see if it works. But then, when the player's created, I'm going to say, yeah, but this is going to make it so that I have to do this for every redo this. Okay. I'm just testing. Actually. Now it won't crash. If the player respawn where there's no clicky. Like when we go to the second world map, it shouldn't. Let's see if it does though. What's going on? Hey Karyn, I'm a novice myself, but maybe you can put the instance destroy of O player on the begin step. Maybe then the clicky code will be calculated after. The begin step of what? Spike code, clicky. The begin of, what do you mean, like the create event? Wait, hold on, what? Put the instance destroy of the player on the create event of the spike. Is that what you're saying? I don't do that? Let me see. No, that doesn't, no, we can't do that because instead of the step event, you can open a begin step event. Those events will be calculated earlier than other step events. Interesting. I don't know why I would need to do that. What's that going to fix? But yeah, I mean, I never really used these two, so tell me more. I'm intrigued. Let's see where I crash, if I crash, how I crash. Boom, speed works. I can click this. If I die, I cannot click those anymore. Hey, that works. Look, I can click them, but if I die, I can't click them anymore until the players respawn. So that works, but if we go to a map without clickies on it, like let me get to the I can do it. I know I can. I can do it. I can get all of the badges. No! Great. Good job, me. 10 out of 10. I think the dev should be able to beat its own game. Boom. That's what I thought was going to happen. Because it's going to look for clicky. It's looking for the clicky, object clicky2, and it doesn't exist. So, like, because it's reading this. Clicky2 dot, it's trying to change a Boolean value inside of this object that doesn't exist on the second map. Even though I'm using only if this object exists, because it seems like this code isn't working at all. It seems like the object exists code does not work anymore, or I don't understand what's happening. Because what should happen is if this doesn't exist, then it won't try to change its value. So it'll skip past it. because it'll just return false and skip past this. But instead, it's crashing. Hold on. Let me cut this and add a begin step. This is probably not... This is probably not what we're talking about. Of course, I have to beat the stage again to test it. That's not... I didn't like this setup anyway. I didn't like it anyway. Those events will be calculated from other steps. Inside of Object Player, the Begin step, cut your instance destroy code of your player from step to begin step. Okay. Let me cut this. But I'm destroying the player inside of the spike object. So you're saying if I do a begin step here on the spike, and then right here, I put all of this inside the begin step, because I mean this is being encapsulated with if the player is placed meeting with, like these two collide with each other, then do all this. Is that what you're saying? Let me try it. So I'll cut all of this from the step to the begin step. Begin step stuff. Yes. So now, if I use, okay, all right. Stay with me, stay with me. Let me delete the step because otherwise nothing else needs to happen. Right? So at the beginning of a step, if it runs into the player, change the score, destroy the player, and set clicky to player is alive to false. Essentially, this is the same thing as with this. Player's alive, player's alive. And then what is the other one? The clicky one. So if the player is alive, it lets us click. And when the player is here, it sets it to alive. And when the player dies, it sets it to false. I mean, that's... I had it working, right? So like it wouldn't let me click on the clicky event if the player was dead. But the problem was when I got to the second area, and it would crash because this object exists, saying like, if this clicky to object doesn't exist, then this is false, and then do none of this because this is false. But when it goes to change this Boolean value, it's like, well, we can't find this object. I'm like, no, duh. I said only do this if it exists, and it's crashing. That's the problem I'm having. Like, I was able to get it, before I changed the step to begin step, I was able to get it to do the, I can click it, but if I die, I can't click it. So that still works the same. But, oh gosh, now I gotta beat the stage. Did it. But see, it crashes here the same way. Whether it's a step or a begin step, the if object exists function doesn't seem to work at all. But thanks for bringing begin step to my attention. I mean, it's another thing I can try. I appreciate it, Karyn. I'm just trying to figure out, why is it looking to change a Boolean value inside an object if I say, do this if it exists, when it's saying, oh, we can't do it. I'm like, well, of course you can't do it. It doesn't exist. Do you know anything about that? It can't change a value inside of this object. because it doesn't exist. That's why I'm checking for it in the first place. Can you show the code of the transfer to the second room? Yes, that's the portal. So here's the portal. When it's created, it's just setting growing to true and image scale, because this is the animation process. And the step, this is all animation and particle effects. Here's the actual transfer event. I'm saying go to the next room, and with the score, increase it by 10. So nothing's changing in that portal transfer event. It's not actually crashing on the portal. It's crashing when the player is being spawned into the second room that has no clicky events. Now, obviously, I can just drag and drop. Hold on, I have to go to the instance layer. I can just drag and drop a clicky right here, and now it'll work. But I'm just trying to figure out something fundamentally so that when I want to check to see if something's there, it doesn't crash. Wait, did I set something to be? Okay, never mind. I'm just trying to prove a point now. I suck at my own game. That, like, now it won't crash because there's a clicky there. But what if I wanted to, like, only do code, do a line of code if an object is there? See, like, boom, now it doesn't crash because, I mean, obviously, we have something. We have that there. And another thing is the game will crash if I've clicked all the clickies and then die and reset and the player is destroyed and respawns. That's another place it'll crash. So that's what I'm trying to figure out, is why this code, hold up, nope, not this object, not really here, this, object exists. Why object exists is not working properly. This function returns whether an object in the specified index exists or not. Note that this checks to see if the object is present in the resource tree, not actually in the game. Oh, resource tree. For that, you should use instance exist. Oh my god, I'm using the wrong function. It's not object exist, it's instance exist. I'm an idiot. I'm stupid. I swear to everything holy. This has caused me so many problems. I've coded things the wrong way because I think object exist doesn't work, but it's not the thing that's causing a problem. It's my stupid brain. I needed this line. I need this function to do things properly, but I was mistaking instance with object. So I'm stupid. Big dummy dum-dum. Okay, now that this works, I can recode this differently. I don't want to put it right here at all. Delete it. Gone. Completely go-go. Alright, I'm going to recode the entire clicky thing. I don't need the is player alive encapsulation. But wait, I actually want to do if instance exists of object player. That's it. Oops. That's it. That's all I need. I don't need another is player alive. Delete that. Delete this whole create event. It seems subpar and dumb, and it was because I was using it wrong. Okay, so now that's done. I can also delete is player. I already got rid of it here. Yeah. And then I'm not using it anywhere else, am I? I think I am at some point. Yes, right here, is player alive. That doesn't exist. It doesn't need to be a thing, and that is a nothing burger. Instance exists. Okay. Guys. Things are good now. So all we have to do on the clicky thing is check if the instance of player exists, and if it does, then do these things. You don't need all kinds of stuff like that. And that should get rid of the crash too. I'm gonna fix that. I'm gonna check to see if it fixed. Okay, we can click on it if we die. We can't click on it. That's all that needs to happen, really. Oh my god, the speed boost just gets you killed. I'm not actually going to leave it here. There's going to be no speed boost on this level. This level is going to introduce the basics. Like you move around on a map, you click things. That first one. You click things to get extra score. Oh wait, of course it's not going to crash because I put a clicker on it, but let's delete the clicker. This is where it was crashing before, and of course it's not going to crash now because there's no reason. It's not checking an object. I don't have a code, so I mean, I don't really need to do this. Speed boost is not for this stage. I suck at this game. I feel like people are going to hate this game because it's already too hard. But I also feel like there's potential because some people love this sort of thing. This is a niche game, for sure. Some people like these challenging things, as long as it's not like just stupid ridiculous. Like this is just simple ridiculous. Don't walk into spikes. And then if you're timing yourself, that's going to be where the real challenge is. When I get this timer going. Boom, and it works. Okay, verified. But here's where we'll put the speed boost in. Yay! Okay. No worries, Jazz. No worries. Hey, I'm happy. I feel like I got smarter. I fixed some of my stupid today. I'm going to end the stream now. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for coming to the live stream. If you like what I do, come join the Discord where we hang out and we talk about similar stuff and show other stuff that we're working. There's a self-promo. There's lots of stuff. Links in the description below. Back me on Patreon if you'd like to support what I do. driftwoodgaming.com exists. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. I also have a Twitch, but I'm not streaming to Twitch because they don't allow me to live stream at the same time. I have a Mixer, Driftwood Gaming on Mixer, but I don't do that really very much because I hate the back end. I hope they fix that. Yeah, follow me on Twitter. I've got all this other stuff, blah, blah, blah. I think I put a link to my PayPal as well if you would like to donate there. Just message me on Discord if you want me to play your game after you back me on Patreon, or if you want your roles. Don't walk into spikes. If you know what's up, man. Yeah, I'll be on tomorrow, 2 to 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Hopefully you guys have a fantastic day. Thank you so much for tuning in. Hopefully you learned something with me. I know that I fixed some of my stupid today. I'm having a blast with this project. I really, really am. It's going to be a very niche platformer game. It's going to be like a challenging game, but it's not going to be like mirror image and mirage, where you don't see the spikes until you. It's not going to be ridiculously hard, but it's going to be hard. And I hope to introduce new mechanics every stage or every so many stages. I want to add more Mega Man type mechanics like dashing and maybe sliding underneath things. Also shooting things. I want more obstacles like things that collide with the player or chase the player or shoot at the player. And we'll add increasing levels of difficulty. Also like slippery tiles and other physics type things, but not using physics engine, just kind of like, mimicking it with pixel movement. Anyway, got a lot of ideas. Hopefully we can keep stacking ideas onto this and put out a cool project on itch for everyone to download for free so that I'll have another project in my portfolio. In case you didn't notice, I have a project on itch already, The Legend of Driftwood. It's made with RPG Maker MV. I'm a lot better with that engine than this engine. However, I want to be better at this engine. That's why I'm working in it and making a game here. But if you would like to play the last game I put out, it's free to download. It's on itch. The link is in the description below. But besides that, thank you guys so much for coming to the live stream. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a good one. Mwah. Bye. Thank you, Jazz, for coming to the stream. Really appreciate you. Karyn, thank you so much for showing up. Tease Jams, I love you, baby. Vino, thank you for coming. Skepsis D, appreciate it, man. Mushri, always good to have you here. Laka Luke, thank you for coming. Werewolf CZ, appreciate you here, man. Doc Weeze, Cool Sora, Chibi Evil, Fortnite Mapper. All you guys. Mwah. Bye. See you tomorrow.